we want to show you our schwimmteich, our natural pool without plants and technique on this day, because there is still something to do, and we just want to show you what we do with all the leaves that fall in November and October. We've had the first autumn storms already, so more or less half of the leaves have fallen down of all the amount that's going to come. I want to show you what does that to our water. So please follow me.
Your channel for schwimmteichs. Nature in your garden and water that's alive. Enjoy watching.
So as you can see, we have put our net on the side of this area. This is the baby zone. We covered that with the net, and we did the same thing with the edge of our wetter side. So this is where all the leaves are blown by the wind, and they are floating on the water, and they reach this corner here, and that's why we have put the net right here. So one thing you can see is all the leaves that are still floating, and we have the leaves that have already sunk. It takes about 1 or 2 days until a leaf sinks down. If we just leave it here, it will get, with time, it will get muddy, and it will be sediments and detritus. And all these sediments would, if I don't do anything, they would just sink down in between the little pebbles and the stones. And that's why we try to avoid that by putting out this net and taking out most of organic stuff that falls into our schwimmteich. That's the basic of the system. That's the point why it works. You have to get water most nutrition poor, and that's why you avoid that organic stuff stays in your schwimmteich. You have those leaves that are caught in the net, and you have leaves sunken down on the bottom. And of course, I will show you later, you have some leaves that just sink down in the regeneration zone. You should get rid of those leaves as well. But let's start with the easy part, to get out the leaves that are still floating. By the way, this is about 2 weeks. We have put out the net 2 weeks ago, and that's how it looks after 2 weeks. I have a few different ones in my selection, and I take the one that's good for leaves. All the other ones are finer meshed, and that's why I don't need them now. For leaves, this is good enough. It's the easiest to handle. So you just go and fish out all the leaves, and always keep in mind, whatever movement you do to the water or in the water, it will cause another movement somewhere else. And I show you here. When I take out the floating leaves, I should take care that those leaves that are already on the ground, sunken down, and are caught in the net, that I don't raise them again. You see what happens? And I don't want to do that actually. And I take the floating stuff because I don't want it to get underneath the net. Fortunately, most of you don't have that many trees around their schwimmteichs, so fortunately you won't have that much work as we have. Christine, do you want to come here because I want to show the regeneration zone? You see here on the very edge of our schwimmteich, leaves get caught on the edge. Now I can do two things. Also between the stones, there are always leaves there. I try to avoid that they stay there. So what I do, it's kind of, it feels like I would stir in the water, and I'll show you what happens. All the leaves will rise due to my movement, and I try to get them into the deep zone. So I always go that direction with my movements. I'll show you. Leaves from the edge start to move. I stir. And of course I also fish them out. And once you start doing that, you will find out your own technique. So you see, all these leaves would move, but it's much faster if I just pick them up. And we really do that. We do that in fall. We collect leaves from the edge between the stones just to avoid that the nutrients stay in the water. Well, it's kind of work, but I don't mind. It's nice to do that. Feel the cold water. Yeah. So we do that after a storm. We just go around and pick up all the leaves that are on the side of the natural pool. The second thing we do, and the third thing we do in autumn, is we broom down the leaves that are sunk to the bottom and don't move any further. So I have to change that. I will take the broom or brush. So this is the tool I use, and I show you here all those leaves. I try to broom them down into the, always the direction deep zone. For this I try to move slowly so they don't move too much. And then I just give them a push and they go down. And as they are all light already, they will sink down in the deep zone, and there I don't care anymore. They can stay there until spring, when we do the yearly cleaning and the sucking out. But I have to admit, as you see, we will have quite a lot of leaves down in the deep zone. So if the weather stays like that and all the leaves from the surrounding have already dropped, then if we have a day like this, I'm sure that we will suck out all this stuff before the new year, if the weather is okay. That's about it. I will do that now, what I introduced to you. I'm looking forward to doing it, and I hope I could give you some advice if you have to fight with a lot of leaves like we do. And if you have any questions, please ask us in our comments. Questions are always welcome. Thanks. Have a nice day.